Now come to order. Welcome to the February 7th, 2023 meeting. After the meeting concludes, I have some comments for the board, and it won't take that long. Ms. Doyle, would you please read the legal statement that authorizes this meeting?
Yes. Good morning. In accordance with the Town Board's adoption of Local Law Number 14 of 2022, the board's meetings are being held both in person here at Town Hall and via video conference through Zoom webinar. The link to participate in this meeting via Zoom can be found on the town's website at the town clerk's agendas and meetings portal. You can also watch the live stream video and submit comments through the town website. If anyone is attending via Zoom, if you wish to speak during the meeting, please type in the chat box which application you are here for, or click the raise hand icon when the application is called so we know that you are here by Zoom. If you are here in person, when your application is called, you can come up to the table. There are microphones up here, or you can go to the podium if you wish. As a reminder, please state your name and hamlet of residence for the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doyle. Mr. Rump, the vice chair, will now perform the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Rump.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jankowski, the board secretary, would you please perform the roll call?
Mr. Tagliavia?
Here.
Ms. Keys?
Here.
Mr. Burke? Here. Mr. Albert?
Here.
Myself, Mr. Rumpf?
Here.
And Mr. Chairman, we have a full board.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Jankowski.
You're welcome.
We have a quorum. Do the board members that were present review the minutes of the December 17th, 2022 meeting?
Yes.
Yep.
Is there any errors or omissions?
Nothing that I saw, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. If none, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion?
Do I hear a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's carried. Okay, and also, did the board members that were present review the minutes of the January 3rd, 2023 meeting? And were there any errors or omissions?
None.
I saw none.
No, thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So
Motion, you go ahead.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second
The
that.
motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the January 3rd, 2023 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. It's carried. Did the board members that were present review the minutes of the January 17th, 2023 meeting? And were there any errors or omissions?
I saw none.
That's none. Okay. If none, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the January 17th, 2023 meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. It's carried. Thank you. Any old business to come before the board?
None that I have.
No. None. If not, then I'll proceed with the agenda. First on the agenda is a sign application. American Legion, 55 Ponquag Avenue. Is the applicant available to
Here's
present this application to the board? Yes. Yeah, that's for Miss Alpert,
Yep.
sorry. Okay. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just tell us your names.
Yes, yes.
My name is John Lenahan. I'm the commander over at the American Legion.
David Aggs, the Ribby Finance Officer, Hand Aldridge, Post 924, American Legion.
And,
Dennis O'Rourke, Hampton Bays.
okay.
There's another copy here.
Yeah, and we have this on, I believe, digitally,
Yes. Yep.
yeah, which you'll see up on the screen. Okay, would you present this to the board?
Well, we're trying to get a permit to install a sign. Currently, we have a sign, it's the same exact size as the one we're trying to replace it with. The only difference is this one's an electronic message board, which would assist us as far as putting our new messages up instead of having to slide the plexiglass and put all the numbers and letters up there. we'd be able to do it electronically from our computer. It allows us also to control how many colors, the font, the size of the font, and how often it would show up on the screen.
Okay. Yeah, and I believe that you went through the ZBA
That's correct.
for the location of the sign,
That's
Correct.
correct.
and that was for the location only.
That was, right, that was
So,
approved.
okay, I just, to clear that up for the record.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Albert is the lead on this, and would you give the board your comments on this application?
Did the ZBA have any comments about the LED, the
I'm
screen?
sorry, I can't.
Did the ZBA have any comments about the screen, the LED screen?
They
Bring that
all,
mic closer to you.
Here.
Yeah,
all they asked us was, they had said that we were only allowed on each message to have a maximum of 3 colors. And we also, fonts, we can only have 2 different fonts. We're able to control that with this program, so we would have no problem. Also, the other thing is the lumens, which is the brightness. They didn't want anything higher than 900 lumens, which is equivalent to a 60-watt bulb. And we assured them that we were able to give them everything they wanted as far as that goes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say my opinion on it.
You gotta talk loud.
So, yeah, I think, I know the signs that are, you know, on the highway that have these, they're very similar. And also there's a sign in Sag Harbor that has information. But I particularly, I don't know, I'm not so keen on having an LED board. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna defer to the rest of the board, because the sign I agree with, I think I have no comment on, but having an LED board, I think it's gonna set a precedent to having a lot more of these things around, and I'm not sure I'm not sure how I feel about that, so I'm just gonna let everybody else give their opinion on it, to be fully honest about it.
yeah. Yes,
I think
Mr. O'Rourke.
I think the ZBA commented on the lighting of the board. And I
Yeah.
think that was approved through the lumens, and they reviewed that.
Well-
I think it's in the decision.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we
Okay.
have no or, I don't believe that it conflicts with the sign code, the lumens.
I think it does. I
You mean
think,
on the lumens?
no, well, even prohibited signs, I'm looking at the
Oh,
code.
yeah, I know,
Right,
that's,
that's
that's
why-
another
I'm-
issue.
I'm
Well, it
gonna,
Yeah.
doesn't comply, that's why they had to get the variance, and they did get the variance.
But the variance is only for the location.
right.
It's for the location and to allow the LED sign.
Yeah, we don't, do we have a
with
copy of the
No,
variance approval?
we don't have a
I
copy of the
think that would
variance.
be,
Yeah,
It
that's
addressed the
fine.
setbacks,
okay,
because the
Yeah.
building is non-conforming,
yep.
so they addressed the setbacks of the building, they addressed the setbacks of the sign. They gave them a lot. They made comment about the lighting, they knew it was gonna be lit.
Yeah,
What do they mean by they actually gave you a degree of lighting that you could light it to? Like, what
May I?
is that?
If it pleases the board, I can answer that. I'm actually the one that negotiated this with the sign company.
So what,
So, picture, if you would, using Word on your computer, right?
no, I know, but what is that amount of light? What is the amount of
A
light that they?
60-watt bulb,
Well, it's a 60-watt bulb, which, by the way, is dimmer than the sign that we currently have, right? We have an old-fashioned sign that you slide the letters in, that's backlit, that actually gives off more light and isn't controllable. It only gives off 1 degree of light. Whereas the sign that we're getting, we could dim as much as we needed to. It actually gives off less light. It's more efficient. There's also a safety issue currently, you know, it takes two of us to change the sign. We have a big plexiglass cover that I have to hold while the commander slides all the letters in. This literally, you'd be in front of a computer and you would type in what you want, so.
Yeah, I don't know if the ZBA can actually grant some of that.
I don't know either.
See, that's a problem we're having right now, because I don't know whether the ZBA would be allowed to grant some of that.
They can.
Grant some of what?
But it can't.
They're allowed to grant variances.
Yeah.
But variance is true, but design variances, no.
They didn't address the design, they
No,
addressed,
they didn't address design. They granted variances from code provisions.
Right, so I would assume they're in front of us as to the design.
Right,
That's
exactly.
within our purview, not the
Right.
ZBA.
Right.
I would recommend approval. I don't see the restrictions as to the lumens within the variance here that I see, so perhaps, my suggestion is to recommend approval with some of those caveats that were already determined and are likely on the record with the variance.
they would agree to any kind of restriction on colors.
Sure.
Right.
Well, why don't we hear from the rest of the board first, because, yeah.
I have one more
Yes,
comment.
go ahead, Ms. Albert, because you have the floor.
Do you have examples of the kinds of signs that you usually post here? In terms of color, text,
That we normally
that
post?
we knew, that you,
Our
or you
current
would
sign
post?
isn't adjustable. It's black letters that slide in to an old-fashioned sign. So everything we post looks one way.
So in the future, what you would post, what would it look like?
Whatever you determine you want it to look like. That's the beauty of this. It's a computer screen, basically, right? You could tell me you want one color, one font, one brightness, and we can adhere to that. That's the beauty of it. And if you
But-
change that down the road, we could change that down the road.
That's not our job to tell you.
Yeah,
Why she's asking the question is, we're asking you to tell us what it's gonna look like. And then we react to that.
yeah.
We're not here to tell you to design anything, and we don't design buildings for people, we don't do that. We're asking you for some examples of what that could be if it's, you had mentioned 2 fonts and 2 colors. I have an issue with how that gets enforced. How do we do that?
Can I tell you
You
that?
know.
I told these guys to just put the sign up, and no one would say anything. But these guys refused. They would not put the sign up without a permit, they wanted
Well,
everything.
I understand that.
Yeah.
They're not gonna.
But we're here to try to figure this out, because we're trying to set some kind of a gauge on these things, because they're gonna start proliferating. And, and to me, the town board's gotta deal with this in a legislative manner, to me, not leave it up to us.
I agree.
Because, when you look at going to the ZBA and then coming to us, it kind of puts us behind the 8 ball, I feel,
Well, what-
okay?
What happened, they originally made applications 8 months ago. They made the permit application, and then it was sent to the ZBA. Building department never forwarded it to the ARB. Should have gone to the ARB. Our problem here now is we see it. If you make changes, we may have to go all the way back to the ZBA now. It should have been,
Well, all I'm saying is whatever, there was mention of 2 colors and 2 fonts.
That's
I
we
think
were
what
told
we would
needed.
like to see, and based on
Yeah, I
Ms.
agree.
Alpert's comment, is that what are those signs gonna look like?
What are
And
the
we need-
fonts gonna be?
I can answer that for you. So I wouldn't think that the 2 colors would be written in stone, and the reason I'm saying that is, say it's St. Patrick's Day and we're doing something, I would think we'd use green, whereas if it was Memorial Day or something else that we were doing, we would use, the standard color that we're gonna use. And we may not even use 2 colors. The second color was to accentuate something if we needed it accentuated. We're not, our building isn't flashy to begin with, so we're not looking to be flashy. The thing is we're looking to be able to disseminate information out to the public. We have things like elected officials that speak there, we have meet and greets, we have that kind of stuff, and it's nice to be able to put that information up so that the public can see it. So, you know, the dual color thing was to please the ZBA because that's what they asked. One color is sufficient if that's what the determination
Well,
is.
see, this is one of the things we're all grappling with, especially Ms. Alpert and Mr. Rump, is this is going to start setting a precedent. And that's the problem we're having. Because I already know somebody saw your application going through ZBA, and they've already submitted 2 more signs similar to yours, one of them even larger. So that's what we're confronted with.
The other problem I have too, Mr. Chairman, is
Yeah.
that when the town board created this code, it wasn't for advertising.
Right.
It was for, you know, identifying place. And that's what we've been struggling with all along. And so to me, it just, you know, it's hard to
Well,
you know,
these
'cause this is
messages that-
advertising.
These
This-
messages that we're gonna put on it
I
are not
I understand, I
advertising,
fully
it's
understand.
community
I
information.
understand, but it doesn't meet the code.
Well, that's why they got a variance, I believe.
Yeah, but it's still advertising to me. And when the town board did this, and I've been sitting here for 15 years, and we struggle with this all the time. You know, and it just, signs based on this code are not to be used for advertising. That's, you know, I have a problem with that, I'm sorry.
Well, they have a sign, the sign now, it's gonna be the same message that they've been using all along. I don't know when the sign was originally put up, I can't remember that far back.
Well,
It
that was
was-
probably amortized and pre-existing
It
non-conforming.
was put up in the
so-
90s.
Mr. Rump, can I ask you a question? With all due respect, I mean, I understand you're doing your job, I'm just trying to clarify it so that I understand better. What is your definition of advertising as you're using?
Just what you're saying. You're advertising, we're having an event, we're having someone speak here. To me,
Gotcha.
that's advertising.
You don't mean for making a profit, you mean to,
Right.
gotcha.
Well, even-
So, you know, the Hampton Bay School is kind of diagonally across the street from us. Their sign says PTA meeting here and,
Okay,
and
all right.
school board
We
meeting.
don't-
I'm
Would
going to
that be
clarify,
advertising?
excuse me, I'm
we
going to
don't get into
clarify
that.
this. We have no jurisdiction over the New York educational system, which is a problem for
Okay.
most communities in New York State. Because, in my opinion, the schools probably have some of the ugliest signs. So none of that came before the board. So
But the
I-
other part is that you used a precedent of what was your neighbor, is exactly what our problem is the fact that if you put a sign up where you can change it to green and it's got all these colors, the neighbor will use exactly what you just said to us. They have it, so we should have it too. The next thing you know, we have no control over what's the signage on the street, and it's all lit up. So.
I mean,
That's,
Well-
you know, that's the feeling I have. I don't know if I could, you know,
well, let me go through the board
Yeah.
first. Ms. Albert, I'm just going to clarify this for now. Do you have a problem with the structure of the sign, the way it looks? Forget about what's going in there.
No, I think it's okay.
Okay, fine. Mr. Burke?
No. No, I have no issues. I think I made it clear. I think the other
Yeah.
board members are struggling with some jurisdictional issues. I think a variance was granted here. It's the ZBA's issue if they're
Okay.
setting a precedent. Again, I would vote to approve, subject to the conditions that I guess were submitted into the ZBA's record as to limiting the style and the font size and the lumens.
Okay, all right. Mr. Tagliavia, comments?
I don't see anything wrong with the design. I think that the ZBA, if you go back to the ZBA determination, I don't see anything noted by the ZBA. It may have been commented, but I don't see anything in terms of the single or two size fonts. or colors here.
Yeah, I don't either.
That was
Yeah, I
a
don't.
follow-up letter, which you
Yeah.
could make the, incorporate this if you want to.
So it's like an
Conditions
addendum.
of approval.
Understood. So what I think, and the difficulty to make a determination today is that we don't see an example. We are seeing the
Right.
lower portion of the sign just as a black rectangle. And I think it'd be helpful for the board to make a determination if you did show an example of what that would look like on that black rectangle. Because right now, that's exactly what it is, a black rectangle, so we don't have anything to go by. If you could show us an example of what you might represent in terms of the size of the lettering, I think it'll be easier to get to the determination. But I'm with Mr. Burke in that the zoning board approved the size and the layout. I'm okay with the size and the layout and the lumens. My only other comment might be is maybe they limit the hours of the day that it's lit. Maybe there's a time of day that has to shut down. I'm not sure what the surrounding, I didn't see a site plan or area. In terms of the surrounding area, I'm not familiar with, but maybe there are residences that you may want this lit back with the turn off at a certain time of night.
I would agree with Mike on that.
Okay, Ms. Keys, comments?
I am not opposed to where the sign is or what is it. I think the lumens would have to be very specific and restricted accordingly and held to on whatever level we agree to when we see certain information. So that would be it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chinkowski, comments?
Across the street's the library, next door to it is the doctor's office, and then the only residential spot, as you can see, is screened. So I think they're good
Yeah.
with their neighbors. Municipalities have these signs, like you were talking about, the school, the fire department, the ambulance. I guess the American Legion is not a municipality, but it's not that much different from it. So I'm going to agree with Mr. Burke on the comments from the ZBA, and we'll go from there.
Okay, Mr. Rump, comments?
The only, maybe we can, you brought up the St. Patty's Day sign. Maybe submit an example of what that could be, and maybe of 4th of July, what that could look like. And I think, based on what, it looked like it said 3 colors, not 2.
Because the ZBA said they would not want more than 3.
Okay,
That's,
well-
that's why I'm saying we could do whatever you want.
Well, we can't do any more than what the ZBA said.
Right.
All right, so I think
Yeah.
if you could give us a couple of examples of those, the criteria that you agreed to, I think we have to, we'll approve it. But I think we just need some further information about what it's gonna look like.
So you want my sign guy to put a mock sign on
So
there, so I can
basically,
hand it to you.
this, but with a message on it.
Exactly
So you
right.
can see what.
Exactly
Anybody
right.
have a red magic marker?
No, you have the sign guy do this, all right, please?
They got the 3 colors because at some point, they may put the American flag up
That's
there.
exactly what I was thinking,
Red,
too.
white,
Red,
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's why the 3 colors. I don't want you to get hung up on that. They had agreed to do just black colors, black letters on a white background.
But I
And,
think
But-
I agree. That's what I was gonna suggest as well.
But you do have a flag on a staff
Yeah.
with a memorial there,
We have several
which
flags.
which is right next to this. So I don't see the reason why you would want a flag on the sign.
They weren't. It was more like Happy 4th of July in red, white, and blue. That's what I
Yeah.
think they were getting at.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be allowed to put
Right.
pictures on there,
No.
Right.
right?
Right.
I mean, we
Correct.
talked about
Okay.
font, we talked
Correct.
about colors.
The only other thing, Mr. Chairman, do they need an address number on it?
Yes.
So I was going to get to that one. I mean, we all
No,
know
I
where
was
it is,
gonna
but,
address
it.
yeah. So, okay, my big thing, just because of fire department and medical, I like the number on the sign. So, just the number of what
The
number you
address
are on
number.
Ponquag.
That's easy enough.
That could
That's
be on
what-
the white banner that's across the top, correct?
Yeah, I would like
Yeah,
it just
Ken.
either, just above it is what
Yeah,
we've been
we-
trying to
we-
do.
We can do that.
Just so that it,
It's
at
not
least,
an issue.
then it's a marker as far as, even if, let's say we're driving in the fire truck and we're going to someplace else, at least we know we're at 55 Ponquag, that's all. It's,
Yeah, just-
All the emergency services in Hampton Bays knows where the Legion is.
it's not that,
But-
that's what I meant, Dennis. It's more like, oh, if I'm driving a 61, I got an idea of like, oh,
In fact,
55
the
is
ambulance used
that.
to be housed at the Legion, actually.
Which is what I was trying to get at when you,
Right.
municipality, if you were listening.
Okay,
That's-
my,
That's easy.
okay, Yeah, oh, Mr. Rump, is you concluded?
That's all that I would suggest. I
Okay,
think it's reasonable.
all right, since the two of us sort of worked on this, I wrote part of the sign code. And it was the determination of the town at that particular time not to have flashing signs, not to have these changeable signs in a lot of places. I have no problem with the design of it. I have no problem with the location of it. Because I think I drove by there yesterday. With your old sign, it's, I have a problem with what's going into that black area. In the past, a lot of these things they've agreed to in the meeting, even if we're on the record, and the next thing you know, they keep changing it. So I would like to see what content you're talking about, an example of it, how it's going to look, and if you plan on changing it, like the July 4th, like others, what would you do in that case? The colors you would use. And, because I know that digitally you can mix any colors possible. What we would ask is they would fit within the color spectrum of the, what the town approved on the sign code. And that is, I would just like to see that, and I'd like to hold this over, and I'd like to do a little more research on it.
Mr. Chairman, can I add
Yes.
one thing that I think you're getting at it, and then we could say it. We could put it into this where no pictures,
Yeah,
They agreed
Which
to
is
that.
fine, we agreed to that to
Right,
begin with.
right?
Yeah,
That
no,
might
no,
make
well-
us all a little bit more comfortable, so we don't have like a little leprechaun, or,
Fine.
you know what I mean? And we're,
Right.
again, like the flag, I know we
Right.
have them, but we wouldn't be able to, allowed to have that. So it would basically just be the
right.
color change on a 2 font, so instead of them having to go and do the sliding things, almost like block letters.
Yeah.
I think an example of that would probably put everybody at ease, you know, and maybe show 2 different colors.
And what type of fonts you're
Yeah.
gonna use, and the colors on the fonts.
Right.
Kelly, could you put that letter back up again, that was agreed to, so we, because that should all be part of this,
Yeah.
you know, sort of.
Fine.
Oh, right, you're saying if we're gonna do anything today?
Well,
To
I
add
just,
this
so we all
letter?
see it,
We're
use
gonna adjourn this for next time.
only 3 colors, right?
Yeah,
And 2 fonts.
but we need to see the fonts and how they're gonna look
Yeah.
on there, because, and the size, because these can be gigantic fonts.
But as they were saying, they want to be able
Yeah.
to change they can use 2 fonts, but it's not going to be the same font every time.
Right.
You might have a different font for Mary.
You might
Beth,
have-
or,
but
you
so
know,
that
Happy
it's-
Holidays
right.
and
It
everything.
actually can be the same font every time. if you want.
We're not,
I don't wanna do that.
we're not asking you to do that.
The
Okay.
type
All right.
of font, the color of the font, and the size of the font. That's available.
We're not,
Yeah.
but that's not
Yeah,
what
we're
that
limited.
says. What we're trying to do is try to get some kind of a way to
Right.
maybe, you know,
You don't want the digital board to be too flashy, to be too
about-
busy.
Right.
but we want to leave that up to you guys.
Oh, and I got another one then. That'll put everybody at ease, right? Because now I'm thinking, the sign's not gonna be
Rolling now, I can
changing.
see it. Yeah.
The sign's not gonna be, meaning like,
It's not gonna,
so we're not gonna get any blinking or anything like
No.
that.
No, there won't.
So in other words, Happy St. Patty's Day, or whatever it is that you're doing, it's as if you just changed the letters.
Correct.
Exactly.
Right.
That's gonna
Yes.
stay up. It's not
Yes.
like you have 6 different signs.
There's no animation.
There you go.
Right.
All right, so that's
Right.
another one,
but tonight they have bingo they're raising money for the Seeing Eye Dogs.
right?
Well, see, this
Just
is
have a
what
bingo
Mr. Rump
meeting,
was
you know.
getting at in advertising, even if it's for a charity, it's still like advertising.
It's gonna resemble what's there now.
Yeah, it's exactly the sign we have.
Yeah, I mean, we're already doing that, just not digitally.
Yeah.
No pics and it doesn't change.
Right.
In other words, you're allowed, you know, it's
Yeah.
one when it's up. It doesn't flip at night. It's not gonna be flashing or anything like that.
I understand, I've seen signs around town like this, but you can see like the American flag, like waving in the wind.
A lot of
That's
those
not
are
what these guys
illegal
do.
signs.
I know.
So, I mean,
What
this
you want.
board is not an enforcement board. I mean, we're
Well,
not
Dennis knows, I
code
mean, he
enforcement. What?
lived it, you know, so
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's just hard to,
When they proposed this, I drove around town to see
Yeah.
where all the signs were, and It's typical what, well, not typical,
Yeah.
but there are, what's the right word to use? Ambulances and fire departments have display boards like this, and they're beyond what they're proposing, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a community service that they're doing, very community oriented.
I think just by giving us a couple of examples, I think, and then we can, at the next meeting,
Okay.
we could approve it.
And
I think
if
that's
you
what we
could
could
go
do.
ahead and write down just what we discussed here today, but it's on your letterhead as submitted to
Similar
us.
to,
Well,
I
yeah,
guess
no
similar to
picks,
that, right? Yeah.
one sign at a time, so it's not gonna be rolling.
Yeah.
And the,
The same thing with the 2 fonts, the 3.
Yeah.
and the
No
number-
animation, we said, right?
And then-
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
well,
number
yeah,
to
because
show
there
the
won't be any
sign
movement.
number.
It's
Yeah.
literally just gonna be like, and
It
it's
just-
gonna be
don't-
double-sided, right? You're gonna be able to see it both ways? Is that how you guys have it
Each,
now?
yeah, it'll be a
Yes.
mirror image. It's
Yep.
not gonna be two separate things.
Right, that's how they designed it
And
for
you
you.
only need just the number. You don't need Ponquag
Right.
Avenue,
well,
but just,
That's fine.
55, that's it.
yeah,
That's
55.
easy enough.
So,
do we send that letter, who do we send that to?
Are you gonna bring it with you next time? Your guy's gonna put 2 examples on there with 2 different color, or 3 different colors with how it's gonna look in whatever font you pick? That's gonna be the example, and then you can list that out on that piece of paper.
and he
Yeah.
And then
does
that's
it-
what we can vote on.
Yeah, does it digitally so that the public can see it. And it would go to the ARB Secretary, Carrie Meyer.
And if you want to
And
come back
you
and
need
see
to-
us, you can.
Yeah,
not-
and
Right.
to give
You
it
don't
to
Traffic
Ms.
movement.
Doyle, the ARB attorney,
And when would that next hearing be?
2 weeks.
2
2
weeks, on the 21st, I believe.
So this will be all you're looking for right now?
Yeah.
Or it be additional stuff?
You're not going to get, there will be no additional.
everybody, but that sounds.
Our
Well,
experience with the
I'm
building
gonna pass
department has
it
been,
through.
you know, things popping up over and over all along.
We're not the building department.
You
Right.
know,
That
Please.
That was a cheap shot.
there's a reason why people don't work there anymore.
That was really, I believe it is the 21st is the next meeting. But you can, you
We
can.
work
come-
for a living.
Yeah, 21st.
We work for a living.
Oh, I get
So-
paid to stay home now.
And if you just put that in a letter, and if you get it before the next meeting, and if there's anything we look at it, we need, we'll let you know,
I'll
or clarification of it.
have it to you before
Okay.
the end of the week.
All right.
There's
good.
just one thing, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
What the chairman was talking about, there's a color chart. It's not in color, obviously. That's in the code.
Okay.
But your sign maker should know that. So I would, have him reference this Pantone chart for those colors. Okay?
Got it.
So. I think I might even. Yeah, this is what it looks like in color. And it's got all the numbers.
Your sign guy will know
Is that
that.
online now? or-
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
should
Yeah.
be on there.
Pantone color chart, like
Yeah.
the sign guy should have that.
That's
Yeah.
a standard.
It
Yeah.
really is.
So if choosing those colors and the fonts, I think it would be, just to qualify it a little bit, would be very helpful.
Does the board have any, like as far as font size? Do you want us to limit it to, let's just 6 inches or whatever?
It depends on
Suggestions.
the design, what you're gonna put in there. You've seen some signs, but they're permanent signs, where there is a large, like an 8-inch sign, but it's over a huge sign, and that's it. It's very plain and simple.
What's the size you got?
It depends on how busy the sign is,
Just 6 inches.
or what is, that's why it's difficult for us just to see a black screen and not know what's in it.
I think it's the design, the sign
Right.
designer and the sign guy, we just want it to
So
look.
we'll get
okay.
you 2 or 3 different
Good.
things.
That'd be great.
So you
That-
can see as we change it.
Right.
And believe me, it's not gonna be flashy, at all.
Right.
We just wanna put our message up there, and we wanna put it up in an easier way
Right.
than we're doing it now.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, I understand.
Being that I'm gonna be the one calling the sign guy in the Jeep on the way home from here, just to clarify, so I give you exactly what you're looking for, I just wanna reiterate here, you want the actual Pantone codes. I'll give you two examples, Pantone codes, and I'll actually show them as examples on the black background on the sign so you see what they look like.
Right.
As far as font size, are you asking me to provide you the length in inches or the actual point font?
Point font and the height in inches. How you would
You
put
do know
the
that those are two
sign.
different things, correct?
No, the font is X amount, 10-point fonts, okay? That can be,
That's a percentage based on,
Yes.
right, so that's what I'm saying is the amount of inches and
well,
the
your
font
sign
point,
guy.
I don't know which one you
They
want.
usually give it to us with inches
Okay,
on the sign.
Fine.
Not the actual point size,
fine,
unless it is a specific, like certain Helveticas come in point, but, no, it would just be the inches.
got it.
Because we're probably gonna look at how busy is this gonna be? Is it gonna look clean, neat?
We're gonna be using fonts like New Times Roman, very simple.
Okay,
We're not gonna go with any exotic type fonts.
like Broadway or,
We're not
Not
flashy
at
in the
all.
least.
Well, somebody needs to read it too. The
Yeah.
whole point of why you're
Right,
putting something
exactly.
out is
Right.
for that reason.
Exactly.
And the sizing's almost gonna dictate by the message that you're saying. You're not just gonna have a four-word, a four-letter word on the sign.
Yeah.
So, I think it'll be a little bit bigger.
and the colors, we're gonna need, like, you're gonna do Fourth of July, the 3 colors, and also like St. Patrick's Day, the color, the green, this kind of thing with the Pantone.
Understood.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we're not, I don't think we're that worried that you're gonna switch this after you get approval. I don't, well, I'm not, but,
Yeah, we have,
yeah,
like I said, we just wanna put our message out there.
right,
We just don't want to stand out in the cold and change the sign anymore, that's all.
right, no, understand
Come on.
fully. Yeah,
Well, the sign right now is right next to a driveway. So-
I drive by it all the time.
Yeah.
But the problem, what they had in the past is cars
Yeah.
pulling that driveway while they're changing the sign.
I know exactly where it is.
Or, yeah, exactly, right, because the flag, drop is right there too.
Yeah.
I was just there.
I'm just gonna go through. Miss Albert, you're all right with the consensus of the board at this point?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Mr. Burke, any,
No, I think the samples will be helpful, but I think, yeah, we'll just,
okay. Mr. Rum?
Yep, no more to say?
Mr. Jankowski?
I think we went over everything, so I think you guys got it.
Agreed.
Agreed?
No
Mr.
further
Tim-
comment.
Okay, I'm fine with it, so we will
Thank you,
see you,
gentlemen.
or not
you,
see
guys.
you
Yep.
next time.
Okay, very good.
Thank you,
Okay,
fellas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Right.
Where is this going? We'll take this back downstairs?
Yeah, I guess we'll bring it.
Don't touch your microphone.
Yeah, don't touch the microphone.
Okay.
Okay, the next, we have a site plan review, Gulf at the Bridge, employee housing.
Mr.
On
Chairman, I
number
have to
2.
recuse myself on this?
Yes, Mr. Rump, thank you. Okay, is the applicant present?
No.
You want to,
What?
you want to move it then, so then?
Yeah. I'm
On
listening.
Zoom.
What?
Zoom.
On Zoom.
On Zoom, that's what I,
Forgot we do that now.
right.
Is this different than what we looked at in the past?
Yeah, this is, I think,
Wasn't it the lower left-hand side?
No.
Hi there.
hi.
Hi, my name is Jake Watkins with Roger Ferris and Partners Architects.
Yes.
If it's okay with you, I'd like to share my screen to present.
Yes, please.
So the application is actually for, this is the Bridge Golf Course. The application is actually for a new guardhouse that will be situated inside of the Bridge property. This is Millstone Road coming up here on this side, the turn off on it, actually, which is called Checkered Path now. The actual guardhouse, I'm not sure why it's for housing, but it's just a guardhouse, why it's called housing. It's just a guardhouse will be situated in this location right here.
Yeah,
To show you something more specifically on another plan, here, this box right here is the guard house, approximately 1,581 feet from the nearest public roadway. The project is the site plan showing where that guardhouse is, with a small drainage tank. The actual guardhouse itself is 128 square feet. It's 16 feet long, 8 feet wide, 9 feet high, composed of zinc interlocking panels, aluminum frame window for the guard to actually open and see the traffic coming by. And a doorway, a sliding glass doorway, and a pivot doorway on the rear side for egress. That's the application.
okay. Do you have the color of the material?
The color of the material is a zinc gray color that is matches the color of, I'll go to this again, matches the color of the existing clubhouse. So it will coincide with the materials that we designed for the clubhouse many years ago.
Okay, all right, fine. And that concludes your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Burke is the lead board member on this project, and would you give your board your
Yeah, I
comments?
see no issues. I'd recommend approval as submitted.
Okay, fine. Ms. Alpert, comments?
I don't have any comments.
Okay. Mr. Taglia?
I agree to approve as submitted.
Okay. Ms.
I agree.
Keys? Mr. Jankowski?
No issues.
Yeah, and I have no issues on it. Okay, do I hear, this is site plan. Any comments from the public on this? Because it is a site plan. If none, then the board's findings will be transmitted to the planning board. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next we have Puco, or, can't pronounce it. Puccio, or whatever. 134 East Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays. Hi.
Who's Puccio?
Puccio, okay.
Yeah. My sign's nice and easy.
Okay, this is a site plan, though, review.
Oh, there was a sign.
No, it isn't a sign. We just received what you had there. You're building a building, or it's an
You're
existing?
gonna build it. It's a bake land.
But we got no elevations or anything. We didn't receive any.
So that
Drawings.
might be what this is. So it's probably site plan then for his building, and then we'll have to explain
get
that you
the-
come back in
Yeah.
for a sign.
Well, there's an elevation.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's only one side from when I looked
Where-
it over.
Where is
Where?
this? One,
That's the front.
I'm just looking at the address. Is there an aerial, Kelly, that,
Yeah.
Right there.
so where is,
What is your neighbor?
I own property next to it.
The what?
Well, I own it.
No, but who is next to you?
I Where own is? that too.
Well, who is it?
LPD, it's office building.
Is that,
LPD,
that's King
the-
Cullen, like in there, right?
Yeah, King
Yeah,
Cullen.
All right, so
Cullen,
then
yeah.
now, all right, zone in, now I know where I am.
Yeah, you're near Gravel Hill somewhat.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
quite. Was that
Okay.
Oak, what's that road that's across the way there, Kelly?
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet, so is that the old Capital
Oh,
One building right there that
Capital
you're circling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Katrinka's Deli, the
Yes,
pool
yeah,
place,
right.
right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help
That's
them,
right.
that's all,
Yeah.
for where we are,
Yep.
Okay.
right? And if we kept going a little bit further that way, you'll see the railroad bridge.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Ms.
so-
Doyle, is there any elevations on the other sides?
I just have that one front elevation.
Then we're gonna need the other elevations, drawings of it. And the sign you have to submit separately,
Okay.
So
okay?
the east and west elevations, and then we're also gonna
And
need some
back.
colors and,
Yeah,
and
colors,
materials.
materials, things like that,
Okay.
all right? And if you have any questions on it, you can contact Ms. Meyer regarding, what you might need.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very
All right.
much.
Thanks, Louis.
So we'll,
Thank you.
and if you're ready for the next meeting, just let Ms. Meyer know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is adjourned. Okay, next on the agenda is Hampton Made.
Mr. Chairman, I have to recuse myself again.
Right, okay, thank you, Mr. Rump. 259 East Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays.
Hi, Lori Wiltshire, Land Planning Services.
All right.
Basically, we have a second-story addition to above the existing restaurant, and, well, currently when you walk into the main building, there is a check-in desk, a gift shop, and the restaurants
Sure.
around to the right. This is gonna be a small, 800-square-foot, second-story office to be used in conjunction with the existing facilities. It's not an expansion, it's just moving the offices upstairs. I have a summary from the architect who could not be here. Basically, their business has expanded, and they need to have a larger administrative space. They're proposing a second-story addition over the existing one-story structure that currently houses the gift shop and hotel check-in. The roof of the
Yeah.
one-story portion of the structure will be removed, and a second floor will be framed. 8-foot-tall plate height will be framed on the second floor walls. You just want to know about colors, right?
Yeah, Lori, we
Colors.
really just want
Materials.
elevations and colors, that's kind of really all.
Materials.
Exterior materials used for the
Agreed.
proposed addition will match existing materials that are used on the structure and materials found on the various structures on the property. The existing first floor will be re-sided in stucco, which is currently found in various areas of the first floor. Horizontal cedar will be used as second floor siding that will match the cedar shingle shakes on the existing building. The roof will be asphalt shingles to match the color of the existing asphalt cedar shingles.
Okay, Miss, that concludes your presentation?
Unless you need anything further from me.
Okay, well, Miss Alpert is the lead board
Okay.
member on this,
Okay.
and maybe you provide the board with your comments, Miss Alpert.
I don't see an issue with this at all. I don't. So I'm okay with it.
Okay, fine. Mr. Burke, comments?
No, I agree, subject to how it was submitted with the matching materials and such. No issues.
Which is noted on the plans as well.
Okay.
Great,
Mr.
great.
Tagliavia, comments?
I agree. Approved as submitted with the existing materials matching what's currently present.
Okay, and Ms. Keys?
I agree with the lead.
Okay, and
This is going over the gift shop, is where this part is,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So like where we walk in to the left, right? They're just gonna build it, that's up there.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it sits on top of the hill, we got the trees that are in front of it, so
Mhm.
you're not
Right.
gonna see it. I think it's gonna look great.
Yeah,
okay.
All right.
for the office.
Okay, my only comment
Yep.
is, you've got a darker color up there where it looks, and it's gonna make it look a little top-heavy.
but it matches the roofs on the facility, in the,
No, I'm talking about the siding.
oh, the siding, okay.
The siding, that makes it look, in my opinion, it looks top-heavy.
Uh-huh.
You know the other structures on there, right? They're gonna
Yeah.
sit higher, and they have that dark brown.
Right.
Like the windmill and the other cottages and things like that. Maybe that's what they were trying to go for as far as.
Exactly.
Because that
Yeah.
might be more at that elevation. Even the house that's
Yeah.
behind the
Well, yeah,
restaurant.
but there's a hill going up.
It is,
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
there's a hill,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just looking at this structure as is, it looks top-heavy in my opinion.
Again, there is a
So-
good amount of vegetation. I don't think you're gonna see it from.
Well, that's a driveway that's gonna be right in front of it. And and parking to the side.
There's, yes, when you come in, so that's over here is the parking. There is some vegetation as you walk up to the
Right.
building.
Yeah, but I'm not too concerned about the back view, I'm just concerned about this one, you know, as you come up into it. I mean, it can't be seen from, well, it could be seen from the road, but you're not gonna see the bottom portion of it.
Right.
But that was my comment, it's just that it's top-heavy. And would there be a way of lightening that?
Well, I mean, the question I have is if the rest of the board's okay with
Well-
it, do we have to
No, I
Revisit
mean,
it.
that's just my opinion.
Understood,
So,
understood. I think they're pretty much intent on matching what they have going on the site.
Yeah.
That's really the goal. You have to remember, this facility's been around here since the 50s.
no, I know, but that,
So it hasn't evolved that much since
Right.
then.
so. Okay, well, do I hear a motion on this application?
It's a site plan review, so do we write back to?
Well, yeah, we don't, but is there any comments from the public then on this? None. So, okay, fine. Then the findings of the board be transmitted to the planning board on this.
Terrific. Thank you very
And
much.
also
Thank you.
my comment will be noted on there,
That's fine.
that it is top-heavy.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have a substantial residential, 1953 Scuttle Hole Road.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Is it still
I
warm?
think Stitchell is one.
Thank you.
And we're gonna need one from Mr. Ron.
Sorry. There are two renderings.
Before you start, just give us your names.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. Peter Mangiamelli.
Craig Arm, West Hampton Beach.
Okay.
Good morning. And this is an application on Scuttle Hole Road, about 2,000 feet from Lumber Lane and about 750 feet from Scuttle Hole Road on the south side. It's tucked between a 5-acre residence on Scuttle Hole Road and Channing Daughters Vineyard around it.
Correct.
So it's not really visible from anywhere. You might see it a bit from Lumber. It's a ways, and it's also downhill quite a bit.
It's a flag lot?
It is, off of Scuttle Hole. It's a 4.14 acre property. What we have designed, doesn't need any variances, I think the building department has it approved already pending your review.
Right.
And we have room for additional structures there because it's a large property, and there's horses immediately around it as well. Besides the vineyard, there's horses around as well. So we looked at this property as an agricultural type property, wanted to design something. You know, we researched vineyards around the world and tried to come up with something that was like Hamptons with also vineyards from other places. You can really see that on the back, I think, the back elevation, the rear. I think it's obvious that what we're trying to do. Using a metal roof, and then all the material is, there's some concrete on the chimneys, and then all the material is just natural cedar, just naturally aged, Alaskan white cedar. Some is horizontal planking, some is shingles, but even the fascia, it's just a play on texture with the same material. So it kind of blends in and is subtle. The landscaping in the front on the rendering, I want to apologize for. That's my landscape, my renderer not following the landscape plan. But we're looking at much more of a natural landscape than we have dictated here. Grasses, you know, more natural to fit in with that area. We think that vineyard and those reserves there are beautiful, and we want to kind of keep this feeling the same way.
All right, Ms. Keys, you're the lead on this board for this application. And would you give the board your comments?
This is the front, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And the landscape plan is this?
It's not. It's going to be natural grasses, very simple, not very fancy and formal at all.
Can we have a rendering of the landscape plan submitted?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that happens with this process, I've talked to, you know, Kelly about it, is we get very short notice for this.
That's all right.
So,
But can we?
Yeah, I could submit some of this.
Oh, good.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's, how many square feet is this building? I'm just trying to judge scale from here.
We're roughly 10,000 square feet
Okay.
above grade.
Just judging scale, because sometimes you can't tell.
And by the way, it's a huge property. If you look at the site plan,
It's a 4-acre
4
property?
plus, yes.
Okay.
So this, we could have made the house much larger, but, you know, this is about an agricultural play to us. We really
So
respect
nice.
the vineyard, and the neighbors all have large lots with similar style houses to this. Stephen Klein is in front of this.
No, I know, Steve.
Okay.
So, I just requested the landscape plan,
Fair enough.
please.
I do have, if it's helpful, I brought this for this reason. We use inspiration photos, you know, when we're designing this. But the thought is, you know, really simple landscape. I don't know if that's helpful. If you could reach that. Sorry, Tim. That's all right. And we don't even want like large patios. We're thinking of having like, you know, these little small patios with like connecting stones. You know, really a play on the land over there. You know, maybe let the grass grow a little long and cut some paths through it. That's the thought. Some photos of that as well.
And single trees dispersed?
Yeah, exactly right. It's a real simple landscape play, almost less is more.
Okay. Well, Ms. Keys, does that conclude your comments?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Tagliavia, comments?
No further comment.
Okay, Mr. Jankowski?
My only comment is that where you situated the house, you made the profile look smaller, so even as you're coming over or down the hill on Scuttle Hole, it's even gonna look tinier than it is. That front, like when you look at that, that's when you really see the sizing, so I think you guys did a great job. You got the horse paddock over here, so I have no issues with that, it looks
Thank you
great.
so much. I didn't even think of that, by the way.
Okay. Ms. Alpert, comments?
I don't have any comments. I agree with Julie.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Burke, comments?
No, same. I agree with Julie.
Okay, Mr. Rump, comments?
The only comment, just making sure that there's a matte finish on that metal
Right.
roofing.
100%.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't say that, but, you know, we should just make sure that that's part of it. Other than that, I had no issues.
Okay, fine. And I reviewed this over, and I don't have any issues with the design of it. And thanks for making such a complete presentation. It was appreciated.
Thanks, Ally.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And now, wait a minute, we have to, this is the residence, so any comments from the general public? If none, any comments online? Charles? None? Fine. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
A motion to approve with the landscape plan submitted.
Okay, and you will
I will
be
review.
submitted to her,
Yes.
and she will.
You don't have to come back to
approve
the
it.
whole
Yeah,
board.
you don't have to.
Okay.
So, okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Yep.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve this application with the stipulation that a landscape plan will be submitted. Rendering plan, what
A landscape plan.
Could it be a plan?
plan?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Right, just, yeah. Okay, fine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. That's it, you're approved.
Thank you all again.
Right.
Thanks for coming in.
Your pleasure.
And
good day.
you
You
just,
can take
submit
I know I
it
don't
to
need
Miss
How do I
Pease.
do that, Ms. Keys? Do I,
And
what would I
send it
bring?
to the town email, right?
Yeah, who you
Well-
submitted all your other stuff from, and then it'll get to Jules.
Yeah,
Okay, Carrie, okay.
yeah, submit it to Carrie at this point. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good day.
Right.
Here you go, take this one. Take this one too.
You got it.
I'll keep going. So we've got it as a record. So, okay, next is, we have 161 Mid-Ocean Drive in Bridgehampton.
I have to recuse myself on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Rumpf.
Thank you.
Exercise.
No, I don't like Mr. Lawrence anyways.
Okay.
Bailey Larkin with Bennett and Reed, offices at 212 Windmill Lane in Southampton. And Tom Lawrence is here with Bolgen and Associates.
Okay.
We're submitting with you, I believe it was submitted electronically already, a comparison plan. This is a house that's currently under construction and was previously approved. We have in there, and I just thought it was helpful to illustrate for the board, side-by-side comparison of what was previously approved and what is proposed at this point in time. The architect is available on Zoom from Cook Fox Architect. But just let you guys
So is this
give a
the
chance.
previous, this is the actual piece you're building?
Correct. So,
Okay, so-
I'll just flip through it if you want with you. The architect
Yeah.
is on Zach as well. We gave you an aerial image, just giving you an idea of where the property is on Mid-Ocean. It's actually the only vacant lot, well, now under construction, property on Mid-Ocean. There's a sample of the materials proposed, which are consistent with what was previously approved for this project.
Right. No, I'm quite familiar, it's in my area, so that's why I'm
The
quite familiar with it.
Page
Yeah.
4 on that plan shows the rendering on the left that was previously proposed and the new proposed front elevation, which is the north side of the house. Again, materials are consistent, some modifications to the front elevation, but substantially similar to what was previously approved.
Mhm.
The next page in the plan is just a larger copy of that rendering as well.
So is it 3 stories or 2?
It's 2 stories, but it's elevated to comply with FEMA, so there's garage space on the lower
No.
level, 2
Is the
floors of
lower
living
level
That's a
all
space.
road
living?
elevation, 'cause
No,
there's the
it cannot be.
garage.
Yeah, but I'm
No.
assuming it's like this
So what are these 2 buildings? Are they in existence?
The house to the east is existing. This property owner actually owns both properties, so the materials are consistent between the two, but you can see the architecture differs
So
between the
this
two
is the
structures.
project?
Correct.
Wait a minute, which one is the project you're talking
This
about
one.
now?
The property on the
Right or left?
left.
On the left.
Yep, and the house
Yes.
to the east is existing already.
Correct.
So they are using consistent materials. It'll be a consistent landscape plan, which is depicted. between the two properties, but the architecture does differ between the two structures.
Okay.
Continuing on in the package there, there's a larger elevation. And
Square-
then we gave you side-by-side comparative elevations of what was approved and what is currently proposed, so you can get
Right.
What is the square footage of this project?
That's a good question. Do you have that number?
I don't know if I have it total.
Yeah.
Zach will have it.
Okay. Zach Crown is on from Cook Fox. He would be able to give you the numbers there. Zach, do you have the gross floor area calculation?
Oh, yeah, this is interesting. Good morning. So
Morning.
the property, previous submission was 10,831 square feet, total enclosed. And then new is 11,994,
Oh, I did have it right.
which is a net increase of 1,163, but still within permitted allowable.
Right. Okay, one question I have. I don't see a site plan submitted.
Yeah.
We did have one.
There was an aerial, but that's of a vacant lot.
Right. Okay.
The footprint, Mr. Chair, has not changed.
The footprint at all?
At all.
It does not?
No.
Okay.
If helpful, I could share screen and illustrate on the submitted application set, the site plan.
Yes, please.
One moment.
In this picture, this piece that you're building is lower than this one. Is that true? This
I think
is-
that's perspective. They're both in the same flood zone, actually. Both properties actually were before the zoning board of appeals for independent variances.
So are they the same height when they're done? Or is
Overall
this
height?
A shorter height?
Actually, the proposed house is about, I think it's a foot lower than the house to the east that's existing.
1
'Cause-
foot.
Yeah, about 1 foot. The house to the east was a pre-existing house that didn't comply with FEMA. We went in for a variance to add on to and modify that house. It's 143 Mid-Ocean. This house is a new construction home. It received variances, but it's actually lower in height than the existing house to the east.
Okay.
Yeah. Project's been going on a long time.
So this house is being built right now, or is it?
It is, but we're asking for this approval to modify what was approved previously.
Basically then, what you're putting on are overhangs.
This is the one
Correct.
they're
You've increased the certain areas that weren't habitable space, you've enclosed now that are habitable.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
That's correct. And you've increased the size of it somewhat, I think vertically. Or it looks as if there is, because it's like a gable pitch.
There's
or is this
an elevator bulk.
Elevator.
Okay, that's an elevator, right.
Elevator.
Wasn't sure from the drawings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
so,
Yeah.
purely, purely access and circulation space,
right, okay.
no embellishment.
Okay, yeah, all right, does that conclude the presentation?
That's it.
Okay, I'm the lead in this area, so I will give the board my review and comments or approval. And thanks for the, putting the survey or plot plan on the board. That helped quite a bit on this, because the only issue I have is that it's very close to the adjoining structure. I know they own both, but since it is that close, we look at privacy issues.
Of course.
You know, and near the ocean, it becomes very apparent. Not to you at this point, because if you own both structures, it doesn't matter. But if it's sold to someone else or whatever, is it going to, you know, you don't want to be looking in their bedrooms or, you know, in their house a lot. So, was there anything to be, or is he gonna keep the house for quite a while?
It is her intention to keep both structures. She's constructing it for her family.
Okay,
And the reason actually for the expansion is this project's been going on for so long. She had intended to use this for her children, and she now has grandchildren. So
No,
she is
I
expanding the size of the home, but she does intend to keep both residences
right,
for the foreseeable future.
okay, fine, well, that doesn't concern me as much then, if it's gonna be that way. I have no problem with it, it's gonna fit in with most of the structures, and I'm glad you put overhangs, because in that area, you really definitely need something.
Some screen.
Some screening like that. And I think it actually, it looks better, the new design, even though I didn't mind the old one. So, anyway, yeah, I recommend it. Mr. Tagliavia, comments?
No further comment. I agree with the current design.
Okay. Ms. Alpert?
No,
Comment?
I don't have any comments.
All right, Mr. Burke?
No, no issues.
Okay, Ms. Keys?
I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Jankowski, comments?
I'm gonna go with the lead in the area. I guess the one thing that just, I question, you were saying that you're building it already and then coming to us. I
No,
guess
they-
that's the only thing that I'm
Well, they
missing.
have a
We
building
approved
permit.
it.
It was approved.
Different, so we're not even on to, we're not using any sticks yet, like obviously the foundation didn't change, so now we're starting?
No, it was approved, and we did minor massing adjustments, and that's why we're before the board.
Okay, so, but you've already built those changes and then coming to us?
We've planned for most of the changes. The only steel that's gone all the way up is to accommodate the bulkhead.
The elevator?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, it's not finished as of now.
No.
All right, that's,
But-
I guess that's my only concern. I don't want to set any precedents where it's more like, hey, we're building, now we're going
Oh.
to come in and sit at your
Right.
board, and you already have stuff that's up.
No.
But if you're telling me that it's
There was
not,
there was no arrogance.
fair enough.
Yeah,
That's it. I have no issues then.
okay, fine, yeah.
Should be farther along.
Okay, any comments from the public? None? Any comments online?
No, sir.
No, okay, thank you. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve as submitted?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. It's approved.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you all very much.
Right, thank you.
Here you go, you guys can take.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm keeping one copy as a record, so.
Absolutely.
All right.
When you
We'll
want to talk
wait.
to us, do you want to talk?
Take care. Thank you.
Not now. No. not
Okay.
now.
So I'll go get Ms. Rump.
Yeah, we'll get Mr. Rump and then we'll conclude the meeting. Okay, thanks, Mr. Jankowski.
Coming in.
Yeah. Okay, is there any other comments to come before the board? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Thank you,
Okay.
Charles.
Yeah, thank you, Charles. and
Thank
it's-
you.
Just let me know when we're off. Oh, the next meeting is February 21st.